So this is the first level that we created. It's still work in progress, and it was made during the beta of Little Big Planet. You play as a little sack god who wants to create his own world. But before to create his world, he has to visit some world across the cosmos to see what the other sack gods has done before him. So here he is, beginning on his little cloud, and he may directly jump on the first planet. There is no text for the moment in this level, we will add them later, but here you can see the sack minister of the first world, who speaks to our little sack god and welcome him in his land. As you may see, it's a very flourish land. There is green grass and a beautiful lake and everything seems fine, but as the sack minister says us, there is a problem. Oh. Because there is another country across the sea, and this country is very poor. They have nothing that the first country have. But the real problem is that everyone in this country wants to go in the first country. The sack minister has nothing against it, but if everyone in the poor country comes in the rich country, won't that be a problem for the rich country? Will there be any richness for every sack boys and sack girls in the world? So it's up to the player to decide what he wants to do. Here you can see that he can go in the underground of the level, where there are two buttons. Each button has a consequences. Each consequences will be much explained in the final version of the level. So here we think that the immigrants will be too much of a burden for the first country. So the decision that we take is this. We put a wall that will prevent the immigrants to come in the first country. So here we have finished our duty on this first world, and we can go on the second world. On the second world we are welcomed by a king. The king has arrested a very dangerous criminal. This criminal has already killed many people, including one or two families. So this is a very dangerous and very bad sack criminal. So the king doesn't know what to do with this criminal, and he asks us for help. The family of the victims wants the criminal dead, but it's a bit inhuman to kill someone even if he is a murderer. So the decision, once again, is up to the player to decide if he wants to kill the prisoner or to put him in jail for the rest of his life. Well, let's see what happens if we choose this one. Yeah, so the prisoner is literally burned on the electrical chair. Oh, still work in progress. So here we go on our third world. On our third world, a little sack pop asks us something very difficult. Because as you can see, on this sack world, there are two sack boys who are in love with each other. They hold their hand and they seem very happy and everything seems fine. But these two sack boys, as you certainly understand, cannot have children together. But they'd like to have one. So they ask to adopt some abandoned child. But will this child be happy with the two sack boys? Doesn't this child want a sack mom and a sack dad as every other child? It's a difficult question, and here again it's to the player to decide if he wants to put the sack child with the two sack boys or in the sack orphanage. Well, this is my point of view, and I assume it. So let's go to our fourth world. On the fourth world, we see very beautiful apples and orange in a box. And there, a scientist tells us, a sack scientist tells us that he has created those fruits. But he's not very sure that they are totally healthy. They were very easy to create, they are bigger than any fruits you could see, than any sack fruits you could see. But there are still some problems. Won't there be a danger for the sack environment or for the sack ecosystem? We don't know for sure. But it could resolve the hunger problem throughout the whole world. So here again, it's up to the player to decide if he wants to sell those fruits or to destroy them. Well, personally, I think that anything that we could do to help people who are hungry should be done. On the fifth world, there is an even greater problem. Here we can see a sack dad. This sack dad is very worried because since a sack boy left his sack daughter, she is alone and seems very, very sad. But why? Why is she so sad? His sack daughter has been left before by other sack boy. Why is she so sad? Oh, here we can understand that the sack girl this time has a little guest in his belly, a little sack baby to become. So it's very difficult because as she is alone, she will have to raise this sack kid, on her sack own. And this is difficult. So maybe the player could decide for her. After all, he is a sack god. Will she go to the fast food and work to raise her child? Or maybe she could try something else? On the sixth world, we are welcomed by a judge, a sack judge. The sack judge, he too has a lot of problems. Because on this planet, there is many people who like to, well, relax and enjoy their sack cigarettes. Very special sack cigarettes, if you understand what I mean. So, this judge has to take a decision. Will he allow those people to have fun with their sack cigarettes, or will he forbid those? Well, once again, the player will have to choose. Personally, I think that every sack boy in the world should be allowed to smoke their sack cigarette as they wish. Rastafari! Well, here we are, on our way to our last world. The last world is maybe the worst of them. So here we are on the last world in our level. The last world is very special. Here we can see in this world that there is someone in an hospital. someone who suffered greatly. When we approach him, he tells us that he wants to die because he suffers too much. The nurse, the SAC nurse that we can see here, doesn't know what to do. She's not allowed to kill him, but the SAC boy seems very, very sad. So here again, the player must decide: will he destroy the syringe or will he use it? Here, the decision has been taken. So here we go. We have finished this level for Little Big Planet, and thank you for listening.